Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs, and I wanted to go ahead and talk to you a little bit today about what we're doing to finish up some of my projects. I hope everybody's doing well. Um, I have these two journal covers that I made a while back, and I'll go ahead and link that in the description box of how I made these covers. I think there's actually a couple videos because I did one on the collage that I made, and this is using up your papers. One of those videos where these were kind of brightly colored, and we toned them down and to use them in our journal covers. And then I think I did a separate one on the actual making of the cover, and then there may be another one where I did these tassels separately. I'm not sure. I have to go back and look, but it may be 3 different ones. In any case, however many it is, I'll put that in there. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I just really wanted to try and work on I'm moving my chair around, guys, getting a few things done that have been sitting kind of in my pending. And I kind of thought these looked a little Valentine's or if that's a word, Valentine's looking, okay, kind of romantic. These were made with some vintage gloves that I got in an estate sale, and they were really cheap. But anyway, wasn't excuse me, sure what I was going to do with them, but anyway, so this is actually the same set. I just kind of moved it to where you couldn't see that it was one's left and one's right. In any case, I did the covers and I've had them sitting around, and I want to go ahead, if I can try to, hopefully by the end of this week, have these two journals done. So that'll be nice. It's a good feeling when you can start getting something. I'm trying not to start I know I won't be able to do it all, but try not to start any new projects until I get some old projects done. Anyway, so that's what we're going to be using for the cover. What I decided I want to use for my actual insides is this is by My Porch Prints. It's something rose. I think it's Shabby Rose or whatever. I looked all over. I could not find the name of this. But I did want to show you these papers. Okay, that's just on one side. I'll put that over there. This is the actual papers here. I printed those on both sides, I believe. And I think these will go really, really well in there. It's got pretty much the colors that I'm using. And it'll be shabby. So I'm only going to make it a one signature journal, and I'm obviously not going to use all of this, but I did want to show you. I printed everything out just so that everyone could see what's in it. Just because, here, let me move that over. Just when I am watching videos, I like to see the whole thing. I think this is a freebie that came with it. Now I have a few of these in here twice because I printed double for the two. So I'm just going to flip through them all because I don't think I have it all divided. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff that comes in this. And plus I think you got a few freebies in there too. Gorgeous papers, beautiful collage. And I will put other elements in there too. I don't ever use just like one kit. So, and I do print on parchment paper and cream colored cardstock. I do have a few things done in kind of a white, but I think that was kind of an accident. No, I may not. I think maybe one or two things. See, this is the cream colored, and then this is the parchment, and they're very similar in color. but it kind of tones it down a little bit. I'll show you. I wanted to show you this as a comparison. This is the same thing. One is done in white, and then this one's done on the cream colored cardstock. And just to see the difference in case you're not wanting it as shabby or whatever. I know a lot of people, and I have tried this print on coffee dyed paper, but I have the hardest time, getting that into my printer, and I don't want to have to iron paper. So, and the cool thing about the parchment paper for me is that it is very strong, but yet not very thick. And so if you use it for your pages, that works really well. Anyway, I'm trying to flip through this pretty quick. Let's see here. I don't know if those are, I don't think they're duplicates. You got a lot of these little, I forgot what you call these slides. I know what they are, but you got a lot of these with it, which I will never use that many in one journal, but they're kind of cool. And a lot of other elements too. So I'm excited to use this. Okay, I think that's a repeat. Like I said, there's some repeats in there because I did enough for 2 journals. So there's more than enough here. So, but I like to, like I said, when I watch people make stuff, I love to see all the pages. So, let's see. So today, what I wanted to do is I want to make some elements that I'll put in the journal on the pages. And that's because you want to get that done before you sew your pages in your journal. Because if there's sewing on it and stuff like that, you obviously want to do it before you put the pages together to put in the journal. So that, and then also not just the sewing. I do a lot of stuff like stenciling and adding different things to elements that mixed media type stuff. And you really need to do that. I mean, you can do it when it's all together because I have before when I go, oh, you need something on this page or whatever. But it's a heck of a lot easier to do it when you're, putting your journal together before you've sewn your pages together. I have done journals where I decorate after, and I probably in almost every journal, I'll put it all together and then I'll look at something going, oh, I need to put something here, and I'll put it on after. But as a whole, it's easier to do it before you put it all together. Okay, so today what I wanted to do is I want to work on some fabric kind of clusters and just maybe some little snippet rolls or just a small, just some trim to put on different pages. Not a lot because I don't want these to get that bulky, but I always like to add some of those elements. And I am at the point I went and looked in my stash and I have nothing, 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 nothing. So this is my box full of pieces of, lace and things like that. And I'll pull some of those out. And I do occasionally go through here and then try and group it by color or whatever, but that's kind of a lost cause, really. So I'm going to be trying to pull out of this and get things in the colors that I want. So, which, shouldn't be that hard. And try and make a few elements there. And then I'm also going to be using, gosh, there's just so much stuff here. I've already got enough to probably do a couple just from what I pulled out of there. And I'm also going to make some pockets, and I want the pockets to be like material type pockets, just a few of those. I'd like to have like one of those for each journal. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do today. Nothing new or exciting, but I thought maybe you might want to come along for the ride. Um, I kind of I'm going to try this a little differently today because I'm not going to make really long pieces. I think what I'm going to do is just take some ribbon and put it on the ribbon and glue it on, and then I'll probably sew it later after it's dry. Um, and just do it that way for my little snippet rolls because that way I can kind of cut them up, put them on pockets and stuff like that. And then I'm going to make some clusters and I'm going to put a few of those in. I have some of my blingy stuff that I might use too. So I have a couple different ribbons here, but I think I'm going to use this one. It's kind of a beigey cotton ribbon. I bought this. Um, Gosh, I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. I'm not even sure. Um, yeah, I think this is a reduced Hobby Lobby. So I don't know if I'm going to use the bright one. I think I'm going to use this one, and I'm also going to use this to reinforce my uh, spine a little bit, where it cracked because it was a little bit stiff. So I'm going to use it for that. But I want to use this for my snippet rolls. And then, let me get this. Oh, almost dropped all of them. Got some buttons that I may use. Let me get those out too. I don't think I'll use these. Kind of bright. Put that aside. So I've got that. And I think that's all I'm going to use for now. I've got my box of lace. Or I mean material, I'm sorry. I already got my box of lace. Where did my material go? I've kind of picked through my scraps of material and picked out some that may work with that, just if I want to put some pieces on there. They're pastel colors and they're kind of muted. So that, and then I have some different ribbon that I had just bought. Although I am going to really try hard not to use my new stuff too much. So anyway, and I'm going to go ahead, and the way I do these is I try and keep within a color scheme. It doesn't have to match, but like this has the brighter pink in here, and I'm going to do stuff with this too because I don't like how it looks that great. I'm going to fix it up. But it does have these pastel colors in it. So I'm trying to kind of stay with that. So I kind of keep it handy so I can see what I'm doing here and then I will work with that. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to cut it. I don't know. Probably about so big. If it turns out too big, I always cut it off and I just use it as just a little cluster. And let's see here. I have so many things in here I can use. It's not even funny. I'm going to actually try and pull things and cut it and then just start sticking them on there. Now, I have done it before where I have used uh, double stick tape, but I found that it sometimes bothers my sewing machine if I do that. So I may not do that just because. And I'm just cutting little pieces of things so that I can use it in there. And I don't really have any real idea of what it's going to look like when I'm done. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. I think I want that orange. And I have to watch this. When I cut these up kind of fast like this, I have cut my fingers so many times. I try and cut at an angle because somehow I think the pieces look better when I do that. Okay, do that. Hi. And then I've got a lot of these smaller pieces of lace that are already kind of small, but I want to kind of cut them, but I don't like to cut them all in perfect squares. That bugs me. Kind of like them messed up a little bit. I don't know if I want to cut that up. Let me see what other pieces I've got over here. Got lots, that's for sure. Take that and that. Anyway, the one thing I've learned when I do these is try not to think too much because you'll be here all day. Just start cutting and pasting, and somehow it always ends up looking good. So I'm pulling out little things right now that I see that might work that are already kind of small. All right. Where'd my pile go? I was kind of making a pile over here, things I'm going to use. Right? Okay. And cut a few more of these. You have to have enough to start with in your little thing, and it takes more than you think. So these pieces are already small. And then I do have my box of bigger lace if I need like a bigger piece. But honestly, I've got to use some of these scraps up. That's another thing I'm trying to do this year is if I can, try and use up my stash because it is getting huge and I have got to start using some stuff. I know I'm not the only one, but you have to because it just gets overwhelming. Okay. And of course I can cut these up more as I use them, but right. I probably should have done some of this before I turn the camera on. But this is part of the process is you have to cut all these up. And then and this is just my little extra pile over here. I mean, I could take some other lace because I have a lot and I could take it and just, start using that, but it kind of defeats the purpose. Okay, I don't know. This netting stuff might be cool. I could put that in there. This is going to be for more than one piece. I'm just cutting it up and getting our pieces ready to go. I'm just telling you, when I've done this before and I just start cutting away, these scissors are sharp. It's dangerous. And I really do try very hard to start to cut them different ways and not just have them all square on there. So if they're kind of raggedy, that's a good thing in my book. I am probably only going to make this 15 actual pages, which would be, 15 times 2 is 30 times 2 is 60. So because some of these pages are going to be kind of bulky, and also I think there's going to be a lot of bulky, tags and stuff in there just because of the way I'm doing some of them. So a lot of times when I do a one signature journal, I'll do 20 pages, but if I'm going to make it really bulky, I don't do that. All right, let's see. I think that's enough to start with. I'm trying to look and see if I have any more colorful things. I don't want it overly colorful. I just want it kind of add a little color in there. Probably maybe some of this material. And I think I'm going to try and tear it in strips and then cut it. Yeah, there we go. I just like that kind of torn look. Usually when they're small. Oh, this one is. These are very vintage. So they tear really easy. I don't have that much. I was looking at a little while ago through all my stuff, and I do need to get more little colored fabric. I tend to use a lot of the same colors over and over, and that is one thing I could add to my stash, but I really like to get vintage when I can. I like the look, and I also like the fact that it tears really easily. So anyway, all right, let's see here. Get another color out that I can put in there to add to this. Maybe some of that, and maybe some of that. Let's see. And I won't use this all in one thing. The reason I like to do my snippet rolls and my clusters kind of at the same time is I tend to use a lot of the same materials. So I might as well, while I'm getting it all out, do it. And I make fabric clusters and then I make material ones or combinations of both. So, but I tend to use the same kind of material things in it. So for me, the hardest part of doing junk journals is getting all the stuff out, and then the worst is putting it away. So if I'm going to get all of one kind of element out, I like to, if I've got all the stuff out, I like to do it all at one time. So I'm not taking it out, putting it back, Like I am going to do some mixed media stuff on some of the pages, but I wouldn't want to do this, do mixed media, then come back and then do clusters. And then, I just take the same things out and then figure out what goes in a journal that you're going to need to do with that. I just kind of have gotten to where I figured out that easier ways to do things. Okay, so I think that's enough right there to start with. Oh, I didn't cut these up. I got to cut them up a little bit. I didn't do very many of them anyway. And I'm purposely not cutting these straight. And I'm trying to tear where I can. All right. And the reason I'm kind of mixing these all up is because I want to pick them randomly as I go. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. If I want to put fabric tack down, or if I want to use I have used my Scotch glue stick before and then gone back and sewn. Let's see how this works. Because sometimes I don't try and do the whole thing because it dries really quick. So, but it's kind of hard for me when I do it this way because I put stuff all over. That's kind of how I do it. And I just kind of go like that. And I'm not really, there's some glue there, so that's why I'm trying to hurry up and get stuff over there. And I don't have any real plan here. What I kind of do when I do this is I will take just the glue and then put pieces down. And not really pay a lot of attention. I usually try and put the bigger, like, see that piece I wouldn't normally put there. I'd put like a bigger piece of lace or something. That is, that's going to show through the back. And I don't care if it's sticking out. It doesn't really matter because when I sew it down, you will not be able to see that. This I want more on there like that. And a lot of times I'll take the same color or the same element like this and put this all the way through in different spots just so that even though it's not matching necessarily, it's all going to kind of work out because you're putting a lot of the same things down. I do want to put more of that pink. Um, oh, I forgot to tell you. I forgot to get this out. I have this whole box, and this is just my pink stuff. And I have all kinds of pink things in here, but I'm not going to get into that. I have a scrap, and this is what I was trying to do when I did it. And it has all these pink things in it, little pieces of pink. So, and they're kind of scrap pieces that I have pulled aside. So I'm going to kind of put those off to the side so that I have them. Because there is a lot of pink in there, and I want to add enough to where it makes sense. All right. You get out of the way. Anyway, I use my glue stick because it doesn't gunk up my machine, and it holds it well enough until I can sew it. Where'd the more of that material go? And then I probably will put some other glue on with this because it doesn't hold everything really well. I actually want a color there. And I don't really have a real idea of what I want to do. I'm just kind of winging it. Okay, I have this color. I want to put more down here. And I want to put more over here. Yeah, see, that's the bad part about the glue stick. It kind of, when you're putting stuff on top of it, it doesn't work out that well. But usually I can get it to stick well enough to where all I'm doing is just trying to get these elements to lay down enough so that I can sew over it. Where'd this go? Put another piece of that in there. And I just layer and start adding, try and add some of the same elements all the way across. Like this one, I really kind of want this more sideways. And see, like this, I just somehow know that I need a piece of lace there. Or, you know, it's kind of weird. I don't really know how to explain how to do it. You just kind of see what might work. And eventually it will all work out. Let's see, I think we need that there. And then I do want some of this in there. All right. And then I did have some other pieces. My eyelash trim is like sticking to everything, so I will put eyelash trim in there, but I usually put that on last. Or close to last anyway. Anyway, guys, I know this isn't all that exciting, but that's what I'm doing. I have pages that I want to do on this journal on Thursday. And I just thought I'd kind of show people, the process I go through. Although I have done that on my channel before, it's not new, but I do think that there's a lot of new people out there that I keep seeing all the time on the little different Facebook groups. Like, okay, so how do you even start? I want to do it, but how do I even start? Well, you know, I and then I've heard people say, "Do you do your cover first, or do you do your journal, or what do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, it just depends." I had those gloves that I had just gotten back from an estate sale, and I don't know, I was just itching to use them, so I made the covers first. But sometimes I'll just go look through digitals and see papers I like, and then I'll go, okay, I think I'll make something out of that. I mean, it just depends. Really, just depends. I mean, I can't tell you I do it one way or the other all the time. The one thing you just have to make sure when you do your covers is that you kind of make it the size that you're going to need for a journal. And, there's pretty standard sizes. It's just how many pages are you going to put in it? And then, um, that determines the spine. But like me, I made those, and because of the size that I made them, that determined, how many pages I could put in it and that it was going to be a one signature journal. So it can work that way too. Where did that other piece go? I saw. Here we go. So it just really kind of depends on what you think you want. I don't really worry too much when I'm doing it because there's so many digitals out there that you can make a cover, be inspired to make a cover, and then you can find a digital that will go with it. I've never not been able to do that. So that's something to think about. Okay, see, it's getting pretty full, but there's still a lot of spaces on the bottom because this is a pretty wide ribbon. I could have used a not as wide ribbon. That probably would work. I might do that on the next one, but that's okay because this will make a really good. Um, this will be really good to put like on pockets and things like that because it's so wide. And let me put some more over here. And this is kind of a fun, relaxing thing to do. You don't have to if you don't think too much. If you try and think too much, it's not relaxing. I mean, don't overthink it. If you just don't think about it, then it's just another form of collage, really. So I was gonna put. Where did that other thing go? Here we go. I knew I had another ribbon. Oh, maybe not. I'm gonna put something with color over there. Maybe this pink. I need more of this pink in there, I think. I really just basically will keep doing it till I think it looks good. I mean, I don't really have any certain amount that I put on there. So, like right here, I think it needs something. And it's funny. You'll think, oh, this is just a hot mess. And then you'll get done and you'll go, wow, it looks pretty good. Um, and all I'm doing, and I'm getting to the point where I have enough stuff on there that it's hard to put the glue stick on first. So I'm kind of putting it on the pieces before I put them on there. And that stuck to my fingers. Yeah. Okay. Get off of my finger. Yeah. Okay, there we go. And part of the reason too that I like to use this uh, the glue stick is it doesn't get as like to the point where it's on your fingers and it gets so sticky that you can't put anything else down. It's not quite as bad as using 3-in-1 or whatever. But if you don't want to sew, then you need to use something that's going to be permanent. That's going to keep it down. This is kind of a temporary fix until I can sew it, okay? Now see, this looks pretty good, but to me here it's empty, so we have to go back in and add something. And the only thing that I do is I'll look at it and go, well, I don't like all that weight there. I want something else. So I may just take this ribbon and put it right there. But I have that ribbon there, so now I've decided I don't like that. I get a little bit pickier when I get down to the part where you're getting close to the end. Because it's about spreading the color to me all the way across. Okay. So if I've used a certain piece of ribbon that's a certain color, like I have that here and here, I may want to put a piece down here. Okay. I may see if there's too much white there, so I want to put a piece down there. Right? Okay, here I see too much ribbon. I don't like that, so I have to do something to. So I probably will take just this piece of lace, if I can get this stuff to quit sticking to my fingers. I'm getting too much glue on my fingers now. And I may just put that kind of on that edge. And I try and turn things backwards 2 different ways. And a lot of times a good thing is to turn it over and look at it and start putting things on in a different way, because you probably have a tendency to put things on a certain way, like from left to right, right to left, and you don't realize it. And when you turn it over, it kind of changes the direction in which you're going to put stuff on there. Well, I don't like that there. I'm going to move it to maybe right here. There we go. I want something up there. Right. That piece does not want to go down because the glue just kind of went right through it. All right, I need to use my little thingy. Just quit getting my fingers so gluey. Okay, it needs something right there. Okay, needs, okay, see that does not want to stick. So let me see if I put it on here. Now, if I'm just using my glue stick, when I go to sew this, I'll probably go at least twice through here, if not 3 times, just because you want to be able to pick up all of your pieces in there. Right. And this is kind of glumpy in here, and I don't think it's because this one ribbon is folded over. I want to move it over just a little bit. There we go. I like that better. Okay, I actually like that. I think it looks pretty good. So that's one of them that we've done. And the thing is, you can use this on the side of a page, or you can use this, for your pockets. Like you can put this on a pocket, and then I will sew that, and you'll be able to see what it looks like. Okay, let me put that aside, and let me get another one. Hold on just a second. Let me get this other ribbon. Okay, so I have this other satin ribbon, and this stuff is a lot thinner. And let me just show you how to look with that. Okay, you'll get to the point where it'll look a lot wider. Like I use those other ones that I showed you more like on for a pocket or maybe a belly band. The ones that I do with the thinner ribbon like this, and it's the same thing except it's on with the thinner ribbon. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here to start. If I can, and I won't make it that long. I'll make it right down to there probably. And I never care if I make extra because I do use them. Okay, so probably what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut up a bunch of these real quick. Hopefully the glue won't dry while I'm doing that. And I'm going to take these and just stick them all over. Trying really hard not to cut my fingers. I always cut my fingers doing this. And I don't like them, just rectangles all over because it ends up looking kind of weird if you do that. And then I want to put some white pieces on there. That one's too big. Put that right there. That right there. I had another piece of that, I thought. I guess I don't. Alright, well, I'll use these other ones. I'll be fine. And all I'm doing is just, while the glue is still wet, which it barely is, I'm throwing some pieces on there just as a background to fill it up. And now I'm going to go ahead and start adding more on top of that. Yeah, there. That's what I was looking for earlier. Cut that in half. And I don't really have a plan, so really I'm just trying to add layers. Now that I've got the lace on the bottom, let me put one more piece right here. Okay, I don't like the ends of the ribbon or anything to show for some reason. Oh, on that other one I didn't add my eyelash trim. Yeah, I'll do that on both of them at the same time so you can see it. And then I'll probably take a few of these, put that on there. And all I'm doing is adding, distributing color, the same kind of color. That's the only thing that I really put thought into when I do this, is I try and get the same color, or not necessarily even the same element, the same color to go all the way across. Like I have this, and I want one more piece. And I'll put that maybe right here. And then maybe I'll put that right here. And then maybe I'll take a little bit of that and put it right here. Put this, I don't want to cut that rose in half. Put that right there. And put more material over there. I just haven't figured out what other, I really don't have that many other colors that I like to put in here. Put that over here, I guess. Put that maybe down here. And then turn it over, because I promise you, the way this works is you're going to end up putting everything on the same way, or close to the same way, without even realizing it. So at some point I always end up turning it over. Something right there. Okay, now I have to decide if I want to put more of this other lace. I had a bigger piece, I thought. Yeah, okay, here we go. So all I'm doing is layering now at this point, because I probably put enough of a base on there. My glue stick. Empty that out. All right. See if I need to put any more, maybe something right there. What? Okay, so that's all I'm probably going to put on this one. Well, I don't know, it needs something over there too. A little piece of lace maybe. Open that up. And maybe, well, it doesn't look too bad. I think that'll work. Okay, so anyway, you get the idea. So here's that one. And then what did I do with the other one? I've got so much stuff over here, I can't even see it. I do. I lost it. Anyway, oh, here it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some eyelash trim on there because to me, you got to have some eyelash trim. I probably don't have enough in my scrap pieces. I'll probably have to pull out my eyelash trim. I might have enough for this one. And I will just take my glue stick and go all the way down, kind of like that. And then hopefully it'll stick a little bit. I don't need it to stick a lot. And I usually kind of zigzag it across. Okay, and I just want it to stick enough to where I can keep it down there while I'm sewing. So, well, here it's all sticking together too much. All right, maybe I'll have to break out my 3-in-1 glue to get this down. Now this is that smaller ribbon that we use, so you can see how wide it gets. And I'm going to zigzag this across. And I'm going to try and follow this with my eyelash trim because I don't want it to just be sitting straight across the top. So I will just follow my glue all the way down. And I can see the glue. I don't know whether you guys can. But I'm just smushing it into the glue, that line that I put there. Okay. If I have extra, that's okay. I can kind of just bunch it on the end. I'll cut that off right there, though. Okay. So that is just going to sit there if I don't pull it off with my finger and just kind of smush that down. All right. Now, if I want to put, I don't know if I want to put the pink on or not. I don't have a big enough pinks, so I'm going to have to get from my regular stash. I have this pink and I have this pink. I don't know. I think on the other one I'm going to put that pink, but I'm not going to use. Let's see, do I want to use any of this? This is like multicolors on there. It's a different color pink. It kind of is shaded, so I take pieces of the color that I want, and I'll take that off of there. And then this pink, that's all tangled in there with my red. It's a mess, but realistically, if I clean it out, it's just gonna end up being another mess anyway. So I don't even try anymore. Okay, that's tangled. Okay, there's that. Okay, I think I'm going to leave this one the way it is. And then I think on this one I'm going to add the other pink to it. And this is kind of a different trim, but I don't know if I could add that one. Nah, I'll add this one. All right, so cut it off longer than I need. And then I'll take that and do the same thing. And this is a wider piece, so I'm going to kind of go just zigzag it across. Put that over here and get my piece that now this is probably not going to be long enough, but that's okay. And then I just kind of lay it down on what I already did. And I don't want it to look like a perfect zigzag. I just want it going all the way across it. Okay. So, see, that looks too uniform. So I'm going to have to mess with that. See, I don't like that. Okay. There we go. That's better. Okay, so now this is going to sit there for a second, and I am going to go ahead and do a couple of clusters, and it's basically going to be the same thing, except here, I don't want to put those on top of each other because then they will stick together. And I will sew these and come back and show you what they look like. The clusters. So remember, I used this is how far this was 5/8 inch width there, and then this one was, does it say on here? 1.5 inch. So, I mean, depending upon the size. So this I could use like for a belly band or for on a pocket. This I might use like on the side of a page. So, I mean, you have to think what you might be using them for. So now you can add buttons to these, and I usually only do it on the larger ones. I used to do them on the side of the page a lot, and then it got kind of bulky. But like on these, I'll just take a few buttons out and show you how that would look. I guess we could add a few buttons on there. But anyway, I don't do that until after I sew it, because obviously you don't want to hit it with your needle. But you just take your buttons and go all the way down. But if I mean, you don't have to sew this at this point. If you were using your 3-in-1 and you put your buttons on, then you'd be done, okay? But I'm going to take those off because I'm not going to do them now because I will be sewing that. But when I come back, the reason I showed you that is that I probably will put buttons on it, and that's what it'll look like. Okay, so the clusters I do the same way, except I usually on those will take like a piece of, this is just the cheap pieces of lace or something that you get at the dollar store, or where did my other stuff go to? Here, let me get it down. I'll take like maybe a piece of burlap, or this is just an old napkin that I got at a thrift store. Some white pieces of cotton, or a lot of times I will just do it on a piece of cardstock, just so that it is already on the cardstock. Another thing that's cool to do, is you can take, like I have a lot of pieces of lace, and you can take lace or crochet tablecloth and stuff, and I'll just like take a piece like this, right? And so you've already kind of got that as a background. And you can take like a piece of this cotton material, take it about that big, right? And then you just take this and glue it on here. See, I kind of like it not to show. And I may just make this kind of round the corners a little bit. It's easier to hide it. You just need a base for this to go on, and it could actually just be cardstock too. It doesn't have to be, and a lot of times that's better because if you're going to use it to tuck things under later or something, it makes it easier. So then you just would stick that on top like that. And on this, I'm going to go ahead and just use my 3-in-1 because I want most of these elements glued on permanently. I don't want it to be like a temporary. And I will probably sew this also, but I don't have to. I mean, I only do it really for looks, you know. Okay, so I actually have this pink here, but I think that's too bright. Well, not really. I do have some of that pink in there. I'm going to try that. I'm trying not to use new pieces because I just really feel like I have got to use some of my old stuff up. So, okay, so I'm going to put a couple of those pieces on there. And then, let's see, I've got some of these other ones. Put some of those on there. And I'm basically just layering things on there. It just really has no rhyme or reason as to what I'm doing. The pieces that I use on this usually are going to be bigger pieces than I would use on just a oh, what do you call it? A snippet or something, because they're just bigger pieces. Do that. I think I need more crocheted stuff on there. Let's try this. Got more other kind of beigey things over here. Let's see. This is some vintage lace that I have. I'm trying not, I don't want to cut it like a perfect square because that drives me up the wall. I actually want to put that maybe under that layer. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. And this really just has lace on it. It doesn't have any other color on that, so I don't know if I want to do that or not. Let's see. Maybe I want to put this on there just to kind of give it a little bit of a pop. I don't know. No, I think I'm actually going to leave it like that. Okay, so I put those layers on, and I haven't glued any of this other stuff. But what I do at this point, 9 out of 10 times, is I don't glue it. I put a staple in the middle of it because I will put something else in. Well, I want to put another smaller piece of lace. I know I do. Do I want to put that there? Maybe that. Okay. And then I'll just staple it, and that holds it together well enough to where I can sew around this in a circle or do whatever I want to do. And that holds it all together. It does have glue on the bottom of it. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I just do this to hold it in place instead of like a pin. You could use a straight pin or something if you didn't want to staple it, but to me that's the fastest way to do it. Let me get one more. This is the stuff that you use for cross stitch. This stuff works really good also. And on this is going to be kind of a, what I call a cluster pocket thing. And what I will do on this a lot of times is I will take a piece of this, and then Let me get my little thing and fray it. Okay, it's not fraying. I don't know why. I'm just kind of fraying it a little bit just to kind of grunge it up a little bit. And I'm just pulling out the outer threads on that. And you want to do that all the way around. This stuff is great to use because it's kind of stiff and it's a good base for a pocket because it doesn't droop or anything. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit, take that off the bottom. Okay, so here we go. And I'll put this on the bottom and then maybe some gauze or something on there. Well, I really want something more see-through, so I might take some of this. And this is more strategic when I do this. It's not as haphazard, but I would put that on like that. And then maybe we definitely need more pink things on there, huh? I will take like some of this lace. I don't know if I want that on there. Now this is a little bit more kind of broken up. Can't really see that pink real well. I'll try the other one, see how that looks. And put that on there. And then, well, I don't really like that. I think just a smaller piece maybe. Put that in the middle. No, I don't like that either. I'm just not liking anything I'm doing with this, so put that maybe like that. Okay, I like that a little better. So let's just say you do that. At that point, you can either glue it all, or you can just staple it in the middle like this. And I guarantee I'll put a button in the middle of that. But okay. And at that point, you would sew all of this together, and then maybe just when you're done, put a button in there, put some more, maybe another piece of fabric or something in the middle, and like maybe something like this, and then put that, or maybe just anyway, you get the idea, something like that. So that would make a really sweet pocket. Okay, and you're using up your scraps and your little pieces of stuff that you have here or there, and it could really look cool. I think I really like that, but I'm going to have to staple it again. Do I want it square on? No, I don't. I want it like that. Okay. So anyway, that would be a pocket, and you're doing the same thing. You're basically getting all your scraps. So this is your little cluster. You can use it just as a decoration, or you can use it as a tuck. And then you've got your other two pieces here, and you can use those either down the side of the page, or you can use it as a belly band. But anyway, I like to do these little elements just so that I have some textiles, something in my journal, and I'll probably put like one of each of these in a one signature journal, just so that I have that in there. Maybe a couple. I don't know. But anyway, that's all I was going to do today. Um, Let me stop the camera and I'm going to show you what these look like sewn up. Okay? Okay. So I wanted to show you kind of what we had done, and I went ahead and sewed these, the one that we did, and I put these little pink pearls on them. So hope you can see that. See how pretty. It's kind of amazing when you put all those pieces on there and it doesn't look like it's going to amount to anything, how pretty they can look later. Here's the one that we did with the pink, and I put different colored buttons down it. All I did is sew it and then add the buttons. Okay, and then let's see. This is the cluster that we did. So all I did is add the little button in the middle, and that's just several layers of lace, and the little middle of the doily piece of the, or actually tablecloth, and a little button in the middle. And oh, that's just an extra one. Here's the here is the pocket that we made, and that was just super simple. That's just some vintage lace with a few other pieces of lace, a piece of material, and then a little vintage button. Okay, so then I, of course, I made some other things because like I said, when I have everything out, here's another little cluster that has a little flower in the middle. And this is just, all you do on this is take your glue stick and just stick on some pieces of your extra fabric and, you know, then put whatever you want in the center of it and just sew it. And I just kind of sewed it like that across the back. This is just some cotton duck fabric, and I have a piece of fabric behind it on top of that. And then there is a little bit of a lace doily flower behind there. And then there's I just took some of the lace and crisscrossed it behind this flower, and then I just put this little chiffon flower on. So, okay, here is another pocket that I made. And this one I just took, get that one out of the way. This one I just took a few pieces of material, and then this is just that stuff that you use for needlepoint. And then I put some lace behind that. And then this is just an applique, and then some flowers that I added on. So you just go through your stash and see what you have, and that's all I did. Here is another pocket, and this pocket is just like that little cluster that I made, only it's just a pocket. And same thing, you kind of crazy stitch it all the way across the back, but all I did is put everything on with glue stick. So, and then I just kind of stitched it, and I did another one like that, different size. And I always put a few pieces of lace on top just to, I don't know, it just seems to finish it off. So I did that. And then here are some more of the snippets. This one, all I did is I put more material on this one. This is one of the smaller ones. And I basically put a lot of material on it and just a little bit of lace. And then on top of it, I had these little ribbon flowers that I thought went good with it, so I did that. This is one where I just did pink and white, and the only thing that I put on the back, on the middle, is a piece of rickrack, just to kind of give it some definition. This is one that I did with kind of the peachy pink colors of lace that I had, the little leftover pieces. And then I found this sequined ribbon to go down the middle, which I thought looked really good with that. Okay, this is a larger one that I did. And this one has kind of pale pastel colors. And then I just put some vintage buttons down the middle. Oh, and some eyelash trim. So that's it. Everything's done pretty much the same way. And then the last one I did is just all, just different pieces of leftover. I went through my box and pulled out all these pieces of lace and just stuck them all. And that, they're all just a little bit different color and texture, and that's all I did. And it's amazing how much that looks good. And I just took the little flat back pearls and glued them on in the middle. Um, that's it. That's all I did on that. So, anyways, that is it. I won't use all of these on the two journals, but whenever I do these, I always like to take out, when I have all my stuff out, I like to get a lot done. So, anyway, I think a lot of that will go good with it. So, I'm excited to go on and do some more. So, we shall be working on this again pretty soon. So, thanks for joining me.